Sadhguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai, and welcome to Jagadambe Reads the Holy Books of India, Mahabharata63. As you may remember, the Pandavas decided to stay in that dangerous house for a while. Chapter 26, The Burning of the House of Lac. There was a miner who was a good friend of Vidura. He was sent to the city of Varanavata. He came to Yudhishthira and said, "I am a miner sent by Vidura to help you." He repeated the sentences which Vidura had spoken in Malecha Bhasha to Yudhishthira. This was a passport into the confidence of Yudhishthira, who had to be careful about everything, especially strangers who professed themselves to be friends. Yudhishthira said, "What does my uncle command me to do?" The miner said, "Your uncle has told me everything about this house. I have been sent to build an underground tunnel connecting this palace with the bank of the river Ganga." Yudhishthira's face registered relief. He said, "Good. I think this is an excellent idea. It must begin at once." The miner began to build the tunnel. But it was not an easy task. Purochana was in the house all the time. It looked as though he were waiting attendance on them, but in reality he was keeping an eye on them, making sure they didn't escape. The Pandavas knew all this. They had to get him out of the house. Therefore, they spent most of the time outside, wandering in the surrounding forests. They wanted to become familiar with the lie of the land so that they could find their way easily when they would have to escape during some fateful night. They pretended to be interested in hunting. Purochana would be with them. Thus they succeeded in weaning him away from the house. At last, the task was over. The tunnel had been completed. It was a very big tunnel. The mouth, however, was very small. The door to the tunnel was right in the courtyard of the house. It was covered by a costly rug. It was now almost a year since the Pandavas had come to Varanavata. Purochana thought that the time was ripe. He felt that he'd gained the confidence of the Pandavas. The miner told Yudhishthira that Purochana had planned to set fire to the house on the 14th day of the dark fortnight, when the world would be enveloped in darkness. Yudhishthira told Bhima, "Bhima, Purochana has decided to burn us in a few days. The time has come when we must arrange our flight. Let us arrange to leave 6 people to sleep here. Purochana, of course, stays here always. We will then set fire to this house, called Shiva, and escape through the tunnel." The next day, Kunti had a feast arranged to feed all the poor people in the city. There was a Nishada woman who was coming often to the presence of Purochana. Kunti was aware of this fact. This woman also came to the feast. Kunti was very pleasant to her. She thought she was now a friend of the queen. She had 5 sons. On the day of the feast, this woman was made to drink her fill. So were her sons. She and her sons were so drunk that they slept in the palace that night. Purochana was drunk too. So that night there were 7 people sleeping in the house. Late in the night, the Pandavas set about their escape. Their preparations were quick and silent. Kunti and 4 of the Pandavas entered the tunnel first. Bhima, with a flaming torch in his hand, danced about all over the place, setting fire to the walls of the apartments, to every corner of the place. Sadhguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again.